Okay, it is May 28th, 2019, the day after Memorial Day in Ketchikan, Alaska. And so far we've had quite a delightful spring. However, the newspaper today said we're in a major drought, the worst drought that we've had for many years here in Ketchikan as a result of the climate change. There's good things and bad things about that, but we'll get into that later. Anyway, today we're looking at my wife's garden. This is the late spring, early summer garden. We've already had the spring flowers bloom, but here's what it's looking like right now at the end of May. And you can see here we have some rhodos and some beautiful forget-me-nots all over. This is our side yard, and then in the middle here we have a pink marble monument here that's beautiful pink marble rock that came from Prince of Wales Island that needs to be polished and shined, and when it's polished and shined it looks really beautiful. And then we have some blue poppies in the back that are just gorgeous. And we have this is a mature garden, which means that it's overgrown, but previously when we had the energy we used to till it and make it really nice and fresh every year, but we don't do that anymore. So now you got to hunt for the flowers, but still they're beautiful even in the overgrown state. We have a number of bird baths in here. Some of them are covered up and need to be exposed and cleaned up. But behind here is blueberry bushes, so the first or second week of July we have blueberries, and here you can see some bird baths that are special rock that comes from Prince of Wales Island, and here's a sculpture back there that also comes from Prince of Wales Island. And so again, there's another sculpture in a bird bath that needs to be cleaned up a little bit. And then we have two sculptures in the front here, bird bath sculptures, and another beautiful rhododendron. And then we, as you can see from looking back from the corner of our deck here, what it looks like. And then going up on our deck, which is a small deck because I don't like to maintain huge decks. We used to have huge decks, but they're too much maintenance. So now when we built this house 19 years ago, we made sure it only had small decks. And then now this view looks out from our deck. The ocean's right below us, and we own a cove, or most of the cove. There's a little cove that you will see when we get to the side of the house. And we need to cut some trees down. Over the last 18 years, the trees have grown back up and kind of blocked our view a little bit. But we like the trees, and it's a beautiful view anyway. And from our master bedrooms and guest bedrooms, we have a beautiful view of the ocean. And we see the whales and the seals. They come by our house all the time in the spring and the fall. And here's another look at some more bird baths. The rock is it's called jasper. I'll think of composite rock. It's a rock within a rock, rocks within rocks. And here's our bench. It's a 1,000-pound bench made of that special rock that comes from Prince of Wales Island, and it's absolutely beautiful bench. And conglomerate is jasper conglomerate is what the scientific name is of the rock. It's millions of years old, and there's only 2 places in the world that it's prevalent, and that one of which is Prince of Wales Island, which is 30 miles from here. So there's the tip of our cove. You can see that it's low tide, so our cove goes on. I was going to put in a dock there, but they told me it was going to cost a small fortune, so I didn't do it. We have 2 marinas walking distance from my house, so there's no need to have a dock actually. So here's this from the back of the house looking towards the front of the yard, and here is the main mound, flower mound. It used to be a foot taller, but over the last 17 years it's eroded down. So but we have beautiful flowers, all kinds of flowers. In the spring we have tulips all over the place here, but they've died out a week ago. And now we have the rhododendrons and other flowering plants that flower late spring and early summer. And again, you can see all the blue forget-me-nots in here. And some of these flowers are spectacular and look very, very nice. And then coming around to the front, you can see the Japanese maple, miniature Japanese maple that we planted. It's 17 years old now, and it was just a small thing when we planted it, but it's quite a beautiful plant. And then we get other flowers in here, and more flowers. And here's a piece of pink marble, pink purplish marble that needs to be shined. So we can see a little overview of the mound garden that when you drive into our driveway, this is what you see. And it's got all kinds of beautiful flowers. These are late spring, early summer, and then we got other flowers in there that bloom in mid-summer and into the fall. So there's always flowers in our garden, so all year round. So these are beautiful flowers, and there's on the right side is another miniature Japanese maple, along with the forget-me-nots and the rhododendrons, and more rhododendrons that you can see. Some of these are not rhododendrons, but I don't know the name of them. And then in the background there's our fountain. It needs to be cleaned up. I never put a pump in water in it. We just fill it manually, or when it rains it fills itself. And a bunch of birds actually take baths in our fountain here. It's kind of cute. And there's another piece of a conglomerate that's highly polished on one side, but it needs to be repolished. It's lost its luster, but it's like a mirror when it's polished. And another Japanese maple here as we walk up the drive here. And you can see intermixed are the ferns. And here's a picture looking back at our house as you drive in the drive. And then some more pictures of the another Japanese maple as you're walking up the drive. And then you see the ferns all around them. We have quite a number of ferns that are quite unique. Linda collected ferns that are quite rare. And there we're getting a little sun into the lens here. Okay, here's my some more garden rock, and here's my favorite piece. It's a large 300-pound piece of green jade rock. It needs to be cleaned and shined, but it is a beautiful green jade rock that's made into bird baths, and that's my favorite piece. Besides the pink marble in the side yard in the back. And so this is as we're walking up the drive out of the go towards the road up above us, and we'll show you a picture. There's the driving into the house from up above, and then we have a number sign for a house that I made out of driftwood that has our address on it. And then we have Mugo pine here. We're going to put a big rhodo here in the front. And then the drive goes up 200 feet at an angle, and then another 150 feet to the right to get on the main road. So we're fairly isolated here. There's my boat up there. This boat's about half the size of the boat. I had two other boats that much bigger, and you needed to have a slip because they were too much trouble to put them in and out. This one I can put in and out of the water by myself and don't have to leave it in the water, and so it's much more practical for me now that I don't have the strength to deal with a big boat. Some more garden rock, and here's kind of on the right hand side of our drive as we drive in. We got a full-grown Japanese maple that we planted 17 years ago, and then we got Mugo pines and other types of pines around it, and then all kinds of ferns. Now this garden has lots of different flowers in, but they're later summer flowers, so they're not blooming yet, so it's part of our late summer flower. And then we have a rock wall that extends up above the back, as you can see. That is the drive that goes up to where I store my boat. And we used to have a mink that lived in that rock wall, but he vacated a year or 2 years after we moved in. He didn't want the company. And so here's a shot of our house, and here's one of the gardens on the side of our porch. It's where Linda does her experiments. She's got a mountain hemlock there that she's incubating, along with a sequoia from California that she hopes to be able to plant here in Ketchikan. And there's some flowers here, and then we have some more rock gardens here. You'll see in the front as I round the corner here. There's a sculpture that's kind of covered by the plants that we need to trim back the plants so we can see the sculpture. And then she has pots all around her porch, and there's another view. And then there's delphiniums in there that will bloom a little later in the summer. And then some more sculptures in the background. And then Linda is planting some more pots right as we speak here. But we'll go up the stairs and look at the pots that she's planted. Those are beautiful purple and pink poppies, I think. And then continuing, some more flowers, purple flowers, and some purple red flowers, and some daisy type yellow flowers, and some purple little flowers. And so that's, now we're gonna kind of I need to get the stain out and restain our cedar so it looks like cedar. And the picture looks bowed, but they aren't bowed here. The pillars, they're straight. They were actually milled from cedar that they cut down when they built the house. So our whole porch is built of big cedar logs there. And in the front, we have, and there's Linda. She's planting some more pots, and maybe she'll give us a look here. And then looking up the drive, you can see where we walked up to the front. Our house is totally isolated. Nobody can see us, and we can't see anybody else. So this concludes the presentation of our garden, and we'll all enjoy watching this, and I will be sending it out to our friends to take a look at. So hope you had a wonderful Memorial Day weekend this past weekend, and we'll do this again maybe in the fall or next year. So take care and goodbye.